Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. Shabbat Shalom. I pray y'all are well. Shabbating it up in the best of Shalom. Yes. And I thank Abba, Yahuwah, for the Shalom he has given me today and that he gave y'all. I haven't been on here for a few days. I put a clip of an Amazon movie that was made in like 2018 that foretold our current situation, like so many other movies have done. Sorry about that. I've had something on my mind the past few days, what I wanted to talk with y'all about, or what I wanted to speak onto this here channel. I know a lot of my issue, and I'm sure it's probably the same issue that so many of my mishpachah deal with. It's an attack, and I guess I see it a little bit done to my mish, but if it's anything compared to what I go through, bless your hearts, and I pray that y'all are asking for the strength from Abba, and that he gives it to you to overcome it, because it never ends. And so the point of what I'm going to talk about right now, it's for my mesh who battle the persecution for their beliefs. It's so if there's any of y'all out there that still want to kind of sweep the truth under the rug or sugarcoat some things so you don't hurt these Christians' feelings. And when I say Christians, it's because I say Christians because they're the only ones that are putting up a fight. I don't see anyone else coming to me that bring contention. No one brings contention to me but Christians. And man, is it quite the contention. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But mainly this message is for Christians. If one of y'all just might happen to hear this, and I pray to the Most High, Abba Yahuwah, the one you call God and Lord, I pray that he does whatever it takes to get you to listen to this message that he has given me to give to you. I'm going to read some scripture. I'm going to play this little video clip here for y'all. And I want to just talk a little bit about what I go through and explain to y'all what I see. And if y'all want to chime in and tell me what you see from your point of view that we do, put it in the comment section. This clip is from a movie, and you know, any of my subs that know me know how I feel about Hollywood and the image, the television, which is the image of the beast. I don't like it. But back before I came to the truth, when I did watch movies, this movie, The Debt, I remember me and my wife rented some movies, and I had no idea what it was, and I rented it. And it kind of looked boring, but it was one of those deals. I just rented it just because I think we were getting like 5 for $25, whatever it was. And I just got it just to make it, just to get the number to 5. But I remember this movie being the only movie I have ever watched. And trust me, I watched a lot. I was a fan of a good quality movie, of good acting. Now it disgusts me. But back then, I can remember just being a fan of just good acting. And I had seen a lot of good movies back then. But this movie was the only movie I can ever remember watching that captivated me so much that I gripped the arms of the chair from probably 20 minutes into the movie until the end. And I never moved out of my chair, and I watched the whole thing. Well, this guy right here, he was the surgeon of whatever, from Nazi Germany. This movie was about 3 IDF, Israeli, their equivalent of the CIA agents, went undercover into Nazi Germany to capture this guy and bring him back so that he could go before the world in international tribunals or whatever, on trial for the crimes he had committed. He was suspected of all kinds of mad scientist kind of crap, where he was changing children's eye colors and sewing on arms and stuff like that. But he says something right here, and I want you to hear what he says. What this guy says is the truth. Although I know who the people were that got sent to those gas chambers. We're not going to get into that. That's for a different video. They aren't who they're talking about. But the people today that are rolling up their sleeves have the same problem that those people that walked into the gas chambers had. Listen to this, what this guy says. I'll be right back afterwards.
Expressing my sympathy for your sufferings.
What does a monster like you know about suffering?
I'm a doctor, David.
You blind children, trying to change the color of their eyes. You inject people with petrol. You replace hands and legs, and you watch as they... This isn't medicine. This is sickness. This is disease.
So, we were all insane? Is that the answer?
There is no answer. I'm not looking for an answer. I'm not looking to...
You're trembling. I think you're the one that is afraid, David. Afraid of the monster. Why do you think it was so easy to exterminate you people? Your weakness. I saw it. Every day I saw it. Every one of them thinking only of how to avoid being flogged or kicked or killed. Everyone thinking only of themselves. Why do you think it only took 4 soldiers to lead 1,000 people to the gas chambers? Because not one out of thousands had the courage to resist. Not one would sacrifice himself. Not even when we took their children away. So I knew then that you people had no right to live. You had no right to live.
Well, I didn't let the end of that clip play because I'm sure you could see where that was going. That is the exact same problem that we have today. And what I want to point out to y'all, that the Most High has showed me, and man, I thank him so much that he has showed me this. And if he has showed any of y'all the same, but you have not acted on it, I pray for your soul. I truly do. Before I go on though, let us give all esteem, all honor, all glory, and all praise to him, to Abba Yahuwah, the one and only, the Most High, our wonderful Creator, who, by his mercy, showed me the truth about what I'm about to talk about. There's a reason he showed me, and he's been showing me for a long time. The main reason that people are this way. You know, just like I do, that there's probably the people that know what's going on, that don't want to roll up their sleeve. It's probably like 80% of the population they know what's going on, and they don't want to take that jab. When Australia first started the lockdown, the current lockdown that they're in, I saw a report that said 70% of the population were unwilling to roll up their sleeve. They put the squeeze on. The government started squeezing tighter and tighter on the lockdown and on the restrictions, making it to where you couldn't do anything. Like I said, I got a dear friend that lives in Sydney. They can't go 5 miles away from their home. They get 1 hour outside of exercise per day, but you better have a mask on you, or you can be fined or jailed. They're subject to test frequently. Everyone's getting quarantined. They're building quarantine centers everywhere because they're saying that the hotel quarantining isn't working. I just heard today that they're, and I checked it out a little bit to try and confirm it, and I have seen it confirmed as far as I have looked. I will look for further though, that there is an app they're going to mandate, a Cobra Vampire app that is just like what was on the movie Songbird, that every 15 minutes you have to go to your app and give them a status update. Take a picture of yourself and send it. And if you don't, there will be an investigation on you to see where you are and why you have not checked in. Yes, I'm not making this up. Like I told you, I did a little bit of digging into that, and everything I seen backed it up, the claim. And my friend got mad at me before all this happened because she said that I was taking all this just a little too far, by talking about it and trying to warn people about all this. And she would always tell me that down there it was laid back and nothing like that would ever happen down there, and that it would happen here in America way before it would happen there. Well, I'm not. Trust me, I am saddened, and I fear for her. I'm not worrying, but I am concerned for her safety, and if I could do anything to make that go away down there to where she would be safe, I would do it. So by me saying this is not me wanting to attaboy. I do not want any kind of pat on my back whatsoever. This is everything that I do share that is truth, comes from the Most High through His Ruach. His set apart spirit of truth brings that to me only because I've asked. If you're not receiving this truth, you're not asking. Ask, you shall receive. And we're going to go over that here in just a moment. So, sorry about that. So, she didn't want to believe what was going to happen. And she was, she believed that. She wasn't just telling herself that to make herself feel better. She really did believe that nothing like that would ever come to Australia. Well, if you don't know what's going on there, just watch some of their local news. It's like a horror movie, really is. And it's only going to get worse, folks. It's going to get worse here. Here in America, it's coming. I will be surprised if we get out of the month of September without it starting. We just seen the other day in Illinois, they reinstituted the mask mandate, and you can see the fear and trembling on everyone's face. And for nothing. Like I said, the majority of these people, they know what this is. They tell us what it is on the news. They'll tell you that this really isn't about the cobra vampire. It's more about getting those jabs in your arm. And they want to do it like in Australia. They say we have to get everyone vaccinated because to get the number of the cobra vampire down, the number of the cases. But even after they reach the number of vaccinations they want, the fact is that they're still going to have to deal with cobra because it's going to be here and we're just going to have to get used to it. They talk in circles out the side of their neck. They tell you it's a joke. But yet, just like that guy was saying about them people that went into those gas chambers, no one done anything. No one really said anything. I mean, I can just imagine how it looked. Like there was 3 or 4 soldiers, and they looked at 1,000 of these people and just pointed at that chamber and said, "Get in there." And those people were weeping and but not one of them could do anything? Are you serious? It's like herding cattle. There could be 100 cows in a field, and there's 2 men on horses. One guy's got like a aluminum trash can lid with a stick banging it, and the other guy's just circling on his horse, and these cows are petrified of these 2 men that they could easily just run right over top of them at any minute and kill them, run through a fence, whatever. But those 2 men making noises will herd those cattle right into a truck or whatever to the slaughter. And it's like that guy said with the people. It's all because everyone's only thinking of themselves. No one is thinking in a bigger sense, at the bigger picture here. Why is it that I am attacked almost daily by Christians for what I do as far as working for the Most High and His kingdom, sharing the truth of the gospel? Why do I get attacked for that by the Christians? Why? I mean, it's obvious to me. But these Christians, they can't see it. And they'll say things like, well, you make it sound like, or you come off like this, or no. It's like if you want a personal instructor, trainer, to train you and to get you in shape, if he's in your face telling you, come on, one more rep, let's go. Are you going to say, yeah, can you just quiet it down a little bit? Yeah. No, you can't be telling me one more rep, because that's rude. That's just mean. Yeah, you can tell them that if you want to remain the same and never grow, which would be defeating the purpose of why you hired that guy in the first place. It's retarded. I don't mind using that word, but I know some of these guys, some of these people, they will get just all butthurt about that. I don't know what other word to use, because that's what it is. I get attacked and persecuted and mocked and scoffed for using the Most High's name, for speaking truth. And this is coming from twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday Christians who walk around beating people over the head with Bibles, pointing fingers, praying for people. So if you're part of the Mishpachah and you still want to, I was like that. I swept Abba under the rug for a few years in the beginning of my journey, because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, and because at first when I started to learn the truth, I thought, wow, look at his name is this and all this truth. They're gonna love to hear this. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening. It's been rejected across the board from the Christians. I can't think of one of them that has accepted truth. And the doctrine of Christianity is so twisted. Like, this is the first thing that just popped up in my head. When Yahusha, the one you call Jesus, asked Peter, he said, "Who do you say that I am, Peter?" And Peter said, "You are the Son of the Most High." And Yahusha said, "On this rock I will build my assembly," my church, right? Christians believe that he said on Peter he will build his rock. So that meant that Peter will be like the first pope or whatever. No. He said, he asked Peter, "Who do you say that I am?" Peter said, "The Son of the Most High." Yahusha immediately said, "On this rock will I build my church." He meant on that fact that he was the Son of the Most High. That would be the foundation right there, okay? Speaking of foundations, Yahusha said, and we're going to read this too, a wise man builds his house upon a rock, okay? A fool builds it upon sand, so when the floods come, it washes it away. When I was in Sunday school, when I was a kid, there were numerous times where a Sunday school teacher would talk about the camel and the eye of the needle, right? And I remember a few of them would held up needles, sewing needles, and they were like, "Look, children, you see that hole? You in the back probably can't even see this hole, can you? Now just think of how hard it would be to get a camel through there. That's how hard it would be. It'd be harder than that for a rich man." Like, even then, when I was probably 5 years old, I thought, this, camel can't fit through there. What is this? What kind of fantasy am I getting taught here? And most Christians never have done their due diligence to even look to see that what he said when he mentioned the eye of the needle, that was a well-known spot on a well-known trade route, a road that a lot of merchants and trade people traveled down. And there was a spot where it was like an arch, a natural arch where rocks went over, and it was like a little hole. And in order to get through there, they would have to unload all the merchandise off of the camel's back, walk it through the hole, and they would have to have an experienced camel that could get down on all fours and crawl like army crawl through that hole, which would be difficult to train a camel to army crawl. And there was a cliff on the right side of them where they could fall to their death. It was extremely difficult, but doable. A camel squeezing through a needle that you sew with, to talk about that is insane. That is a foundation of sand. And I can go on, and we will see more. But I want to let the Most High, through his prophet Jeremiah, show you what he's talking about. But look, if you're still someone that says, this is gonna be okay, just watch this real quick, will you?
September 13th, you will need to have at least one dose of vaccine to enter these settings, and by October 24th, entry to these settings will require people aged 12 and older to be fully vaccinated at least 7 days
after receiving both doses,
with safely reopening schools, safely reopening, and to safely continue our businesses and events through the fall.
The Holy Bible, the King James Version. Wherefore, Comfort one another with these words. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Watch therefore. We're going to start off by reading a little bit of Matthew here. The words of the Messiah. Matthew chapter 7. Do not judge, lest you be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? We are to expose wickedness and judge righteously. Yes, those are words in the scripture, truthful words. A Christian right now is probably thinking, well, there you go. You're judging. No, I haven't went to one person and said, Sally, you need to start obeying the Torah. You need to observe the Sabbath. You need to put that pork chop down. You need to do this and this and this. No. I've been plucking that plank out of my eye this whole entire time. Still digging right now. A Christian will come to me and say, Dottie, you need to do this. Let me pray for you. Let me lay hands on you and speak in tongues over you while they have a plank in their eye. And if this wasn't as harmful and truly deadly of a doctrine that I'm going to show you, I wouldn't be speaking about it. Verse 4, or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. If you're still here and you haven't left, bravo if you haven't. I'm going to challenge you right now. Not so I can be right or you can be wrong, but because I love you, I want to propose this to you. By the end of this video, and I'll try to make it quick, let's see if what you are accusing me of right now can be considered a plank compared to what the Most High through his prophet Jeremiah and his son Yahusha, the one you call Jesus, the Messiah, is going to tell you. We're going to read their words and ask yourself, is what these guys are saying, if you do what they're talking about, which is a plank, will it be considered a plank compared to what you're accusing me of, or a splinter? Not that I'm trying to measure anything with you, but because I love you. We all sin, we all fall short, right? We all do. But are you going to tell me if a man rapes a child, or if he drinks a glass of whiskey, if you're standing there, which one are you going to probably knock him upside the head with something and hog tie him and carry him off over? Yes, you know, they say that all sin is the same, but you tell me, if we're talking about all sin are the same and to be measured the same, would you consider pedophilia equal with someone stealing a can of soup so they could feed themselves? Come on now, let's get real. So when this is over, if you want to, if you're brave enough to stand on what you say, what you preach, back it up, and exercise your faith. Let me know if what you're accusing me of right now is worse or equal or less than what the words in this scripture is going to speak. Verse 6, do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be opened. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone, or if he asks for a fish, shall he give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the heavens give what is good to those who ask him? That's the only reason I know the truth that I know, because I've asked him. He's not going to give you something if you ain't asking for it. If you receive chastisement, well, you ask for it. Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets. See, this is Yahusha right here. And he is encouraging us to not only read the Torah and the prophets, but to do them, be a doer of the word. I challenge you also to go in the scripture and find me somewhere where the Messiah has told you to not follow the Torah, to don't even try, because if you fail at one part of it, you'll be a failure of it all. Find that for me, where he says don't try because it's too hard, you can't win, give up. Enter into the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. But beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. By their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. The desire of our Father, of his Father that he mentioned of right there, is the Torah. When he gave those commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai, that was his desire, that the people of Israel, Yasharal, his children, would follow his instruction so that they would live, because it leads to life, safety, and health, good health. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Okay, my people here. People that are of Islam are not going to be the ones saying, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name and cast out demons and done mighty works? Buddhists, the Hindus, any religion that you can think of. These are Christians he's talking about. And he's going to declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Lawlessness. Here's another example of how the Christians have built their life, their faith, upon a doctrine not only of demons, but that is on sand. They will tell you that that word right there, which in some translations is iniquity, it means the same thing, lawlessness, deliberate sin. They'll tell you that that is meaning that man's law, that he's talking about you who drive over the speed limit, or park in the wrong spot, or rob a bank, or, well, rob a bank would be considered breaking the Torah as well, because you're not supposed to steal. But he's not talking about the law of man. He's talking about the instruction, the law of his Father, our Father, Abba Yahuwah. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. And it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. And that is who is speaking these words. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And it came to be, when Yahushua had ended these words, that the people were astonished at his teaching. For he was teaching them as one possessing authority, and not as the scribes. And we're going to see here, we're going to read chapter 10, and we're going to see how they received the Messiah for speaking those words. And having called his 12 taught ones near, he gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out and to heal every disease and every bodily weakness. And these are the names of the 12 emissaries. First, Simon, we know their names, we don't have to get into that right now. And Yahushua sent these 12 out, having commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the nations, which that is pagans. He said, do not enter a city of the I don't know what that word is, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, Yasharal. So he sent his 12 disciples out to Israel only, right there. So if you're not Israel, and you're of the Gentiles, so you claim, and you're one part of the branch that he will hold in his hand, he didn't send his disciples to you, nor did he come for you, according to your doctrine, which is another example of how it is sand. It's built on sand. It's twisted. It's vanity, and it profits nothing. And as you go, proclaim, saying, the reign of the heavens has drawn near. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without paying, give without being paid. Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts, or a bag for the journey, or 2 undergarments, or sandals, or staffs, for the worker is worthy of his food. And into whatever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. And as you enter into a house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever does not receive you nor hear your words, when you leave that house or city, shake off the dust from your feet. Truly, I say to you, it shall be more bearable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. I want you to think about that, people. If you're still listening to this, you're a Christian, you got a problem with me using the name of the Most High, you've called people like myself legalists, or if you still do, and you say I've put myself back under a curse, I want you to think about that right there. And Jeremiah is going to show us how it's going to show you the same thing that you say in your heart right now, that this isn't you, that you don't do that you're not going to end up there. You're not going to be one of them people he says, depart from me, I never knew you, you who work lawlessness. Because you obey the law. You pay your taxes. You drive the speed limit. You ain't got in a fight. You blah, 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 blah. And you'll justify and rationalize and try every way in the world to win an argument with words, with reasoning that is not reasoning, that it's ridiculousness. It's absurd. See, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. But beware of men, for they shall deliver you up to the Sanhedrins and flog you in their congregations. And you shall be brought before governors and sovereigns for my sake, as a witness to them and to the nations. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it shall be given to you in that hour what you shall speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking in you. And brother shall deliver up brother to death, and a father his child, and children shall rise up against parents, and shall put them to death. And you shall be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. Now see, if he wasn't, when he says, for my name's sake, if the name was of no importance, he would have said, you shall be hated by all for my doctrine's sake, for what I done's sake, for me being the Son of the Most High's sake. He said name because it's important. Because when you say my name, when you call me by my name, you are now on a more personal level with me. The conversation, the communication between you and I has become more intimate. I'm relating and you're relating to me more intimately. You're no longer calling me sir because you don't know my name. You know my name. And when you're talking to someone about me, when you are describing an attribute of mine, and you put and you tell them my name, they might say, oh yeah, that's Dottie. His name is important. It is from his father's name, from his father. And it describes definitively one person, the Son of the Most High. And I'm going to show you how the fictitious, incorrect, which is facts, name does not do any of that. It is not definitive of the man, the Son of the Most High. It does not describe the person who was here and who died and who healed sick people and rose Lazarus from the dead, from death, and who was raised himself from death. It does not describe that person. I'm going to show you what that name describes. And when they persecute you in this city, flee to another, for truly I say to you, you shall by no means have gone through the cities of Yasharal before the Son of Adam comes. Now, another example right here I can give you, that Christians today would tell you to turn yourself in and not flee. If the authorities are persecuting you, give yourself up. Aren't we supposed to do? Don't you wear wristbands that say WWJD? What would Jesus do? I'm asking you, what would he do? It says right there. And we know that he did it. We know he dipped out the back. We know that he left until the time was right. We know that his mom and dad fled to Egypt. We know that Caleb and was it Joshua got hid. Moses was put in a basket and sent down the river. But according to their way of life, according to the way they operate, they would have never sent Moses down that river. They would have never fled with the Messiah. They would have died. Well, good thing that those people weren't Christians. A taught one is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for the taught one to become like his teacher, and a servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more those of his household? Therefore do not fear them, for whatever is covered shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be made known. What I say to you in the dark, speak in the light, and what you hear in the ear, proclaim it on the housetops. Proclaim it on the housetops. But you, being a Christian, will tell me, just, you need to, you don't need to come at them like that. You need to be, just be quiet. And none of that stuff's going on right now. You don't know if they're gonna lock us down next week. This could be okay. This ain't what you say it is. Just go roll your sleeve up and we'll all be all right. Shut up. You're the problem here because you're a conspiracy theorist. Are not 2 sparrows sold? Oh, wait. And do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground without your Father? And even the hairs of your head are all numbered. So do not fear, you are worth more than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who shall confess me before men, him I shall also confess before my Father, who is in the heavens. If you're confessing the Messiah in a fictitious, twisted description, if you're describing him inaccurately and leading people by a false reality of him. If you're preaching a Messiah that's not found in the scripture, what are y'all doing? What is he telling us to do right here? That we are to confess the Messiah before men, and he will confess us before his Father. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I shall also deny before my Father who is in the heavens. If you say that the Messiah came to nullify, to do away with the Torah, you are denying the Messiah. If you say that because he has passed away, because he died, you can eat bacon, screw the Shabbat, the seventh day of the week of rest, and the feast days, and you can do whatever you want now, and you preach a whole theology based upon this idea, you deny the true Messiah. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. For I have come to bring division. A man against his father, a daughter against his mother. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. And a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies are those of his own household. He who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take up his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. You know, I've heard so many times from Christians growing up throughout my life, pick up your cross. You see these guys walking across America with these wooden crosses behind, on their back. Pick up your stake. They say, what would Jesus do? But they don't want to do hardly anything that he done. They like for you to think they would, but they do not. And show me where they do. And now this isn't me pointing my finger at Sally or Bill or Tim or Bubby. This is me pointing the finger at the doctrine that has enslaved. It has harmed men and women on this earth. It was made by the Roman Catholic Church to kill the real story of the Messiah. It was created to lead many astray, to lead people into believing a false doctrine, and to idolatry. It led people into committing idolatry, fornication, and adultery. The worst things a person could do. He who receives you, or he who has found his life shall lose it, and he that has lost his life for my sake shall find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. And all through this New Testament, all through the four Gospels, in the words of Yahusha, the guy you call Jesus, we see over and over and over again. Look, he says, he who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. Who does he receive? Who would you receive if you receive Yahusha? His Father. Not him, his Father. When he asked Peter, he said, who do you say I am? And he said, you are the Son of the living Most High. He said, on this rock I will build my church. If he was in fact the Father, and they were Trinity, whatever, he would have said, no, Peter, you're incorrect. I am the Father. You're looking at him. That time he said, me and the Father are one. When you get married and you and your wife are one, are you guys actually one now? Are you in a union and you operate as one? Yes, you do. Do not twist the words of the scripture to your destruction, your own demise. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous one in the name of a righteous one shall receive a righteous one's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a taught one, truly, I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. Christianity is in complete opposition of the scripture. Prove me wrong. Show me where I'm wrong. You will not, because you cannot. Everything about it is false. And it is in complete opposition to the scriptures, to the words of Messiah, to the words of Paul, to the words of Jeremiah, Daniel, Deuteronomy, Genesis, all of it, and especially the Most High. And this is going to show you why that's the case right here in Jeremiah. Now, you can see that this translation is TS 2009, the Scriptures 2009. But for y'all Christians, I'm going to switch it to KJV, the KJV, and you'll see that it speaks the same message. Verse 1, chapter 1. The words of Jeremiah the son of Hilkiah of the priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahuwah in the days of Josiah the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. The word of the Most High Yahuwah, the word of Yahuwah, came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the womb, in the belly I knew thee, and before thou comest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Then I said, Ah, Yahuwah, the Most High, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But Yahuwah said unto me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee to speak, be not afraid of their faces. For I am with thee to deliver thee, says Yahuwah. Then Yahuwah put forth his hand and touched my mouth, and Yahuwah said unto me, Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations, and over the kingdoms, to root out, to pull down, and to destroy, and to throw down, to build, and to plant. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then said Yahuwah unto me, Thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me the second time, saying, What seest thou? And I said, I see a seething pot, and the face thereof is toward the north. Then Yahuwah said unto me, Out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, says Yahuwah, and they shall come, and they shall set every one of his throne at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem. and against all the walls thereof round about, and against all the cities of Judah. And I will utter my judgments against them touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me, and have burnt incense unto other gods, and worshipped the works of their own hands. Thou therefore gird up thy loins, and arise and speak unto them all that I command thee. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them. For behold, I have made thee this day a defenced city, and an iron pillar and brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, and against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land. And they shall fight against thee, but they shall not prevail against thee. For I am with thee, says Yahuwah, to deliver thee. Yahuwah sent Jeremiah to a people that he obviously loves and wants to save, knowing that they're going to fight against him. Jeremiah is going to go speak truth, the words of the God they're worshiping, and they will rebuke him and try to kill him for doing so. Sound a little odd to you? Yeah, and it sounds very familiar to me. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahuwah, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentst after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Israel was holiness unto Yahuwah. Israel was set apart unto Yahuwah, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, says Yahuwah. Hear ye the word of Yahuwah, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus says Yahuwah, what iniquity? Remember, we were just talking about how that is the same thing as lawlessness. So we could say, what lawlessness have your fathers found in me? That they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain. Neither said they, Where is Yahuwah, that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through the land that no man passed through, and where no man lives, dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defiled my land, and made my heritage an abomination. The priests said not, Where is Yahuwah? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. Just like we could put inject lawlessness for the word iniquity, we can inject Lord. Right there for that word. What'd they do? They prophesied by the Lord and walked after things that do not profit. What does it profit anyone to put colored eggs in the yard and let the little children run around and tell them that they come out of the rear end of a bunny, or that Santa Claus came down the chimney and brought gifts, and that the children better be nice, whoever is naughty but nice? You spend all that money, and the next day all that stuff you bought your little children is sitting in a corner, and they're probably playing with the box you wrapped it in. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, says Yahuwah, and with your children's children will I plead. For pass over the isles of Shittim, and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing. Has a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which don't profit, You see what he's saying? He's not saying that they changed their God. He ain't saying that they traded him for other gods, which they did. He's saying that they changed him into something he wasn't, into something that does not profit, but he did profit. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, says Yahuwah, for my people have committed two evils, for they have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. They made doctrines of demons, foundations, houses built on sand. They traded the house that was built on a rock for a house that was built on sand. And they love it. They delight in it. And they see nothing wrong with it. And the house that's on the rock, they despise it. If you are trying to live in that house, they hate you. They mock and scoff you. They try every way in the world to get you to come out of that house and denounce it. Is Israel a servant? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burnt without inhabitant. Also the children of Naph and Tappanaz have broken the crown of thy head. Hast thou not procured this unto thyself? And thou that hast forsaken Yahuwah, your Most High, when he led thee by the way, and now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Sihor, or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. And it has, you just haven't noticed it. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken Yahuwah, your Elohim, and that my fear is not in thee, says Yahuwah, the Most High of hosts. You are not afraid of him. You are doing these things that are wicked. You deny the fact that they're wicked. You lie to yourself and say that they're not and that it's okay. It's not what's in your heart. The scripture tells us what's in your heart and what your heart's made out of. The scripture tells us that the Most High doesn't want you doing these things, that they're an abomination, that he hates them. You're not afraid of him. What is that telling us? That you're not afraid of him. What's this mean? For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidst, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill, you said, I will not transgress, but upon every high hill and under every green tree you wander, playing the harlot. Yet the harlot, in case you don't know, the whore, the hoe, you've played a hoe. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though thou wash thee with niter, and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity, lawlessness, is marked before me, says Yahuwah. How canst thou say, I am not polluted? How do you say this? How do you walk around, your chin up, your chest out, your nose held high, saying, I have done nothing wrong? You have done wrong. You who want to know the Most High's name. You who want to walk like the Messiah and who love him like this. You are the one that's wrong. How dare you not eat bacon when we don't have to live like that anymore? Live like what? The Most High told us not to eat pork because it's bad for you. He didn't tell you not to eat it because he wants it all for himself or that he's just an asshole. He told you not to eat it because it's for your own health benefit. It's for your own good. But what do? You're like a spoiled little child, just like he said. How has Israel become spoiled? You say, I don't care what he's... No, I can eat it because Jesus died for my sins and I no longer am subjected to that law. It's such a strong delusion that it's created in you an absolute absurdity, ridiculousness. It's retarded. How can you say I'm not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam. See thy way in the valley? Know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary traversing her ways, a wild ass used to the wilderness, that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure. In her occasion who can turn her away? All that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month they shall find her. Withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from thirst. But thou said, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. Because I can do whatever I want to do. When that day of gnashing of teeth comes, there will be no more of that attitude. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth, for they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble they will say, arise and save us. Does that not sound familiar? You don't want to take heed to Most High's words when he told you not to have a tree in your living room and put presents under it, or to celebrate these vain pagan heathen days that profit nothing. But when trouble comes, what do you say? Oh my God! Oh, please, please, please help me, help me, help me. But where are your gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise. Let Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and old Saint Nick and Cupid come save you. If they can save thee in the time of thy trouble, for according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye all have transgressed against me, says Yahuwah. In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword hath devoured your prophets, like a destroying lion. Yahuwah gives the truth, a word to someone, sends them to you, and they speak it, and they're scared. They don't even feel qualified to do it. They feel like they're the worst person that should be doing this. And they come there against what they really want to do because they're afraid and they're embarrassed, and you want to slice them up, slice and dice them with the sword, and destroy them like a lion. O generation, see ye the word of Yahuwah. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords. We will come no more unto thee. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. And you'll say right now, we haven't forgotten him, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What's his name? We don't need to... Are you going to tell me you can love someone and you could care less what their name is? You don't even want to know? And if you try to use that lame excuse that it's forbidden to mention, what kind of God are you serving if he forbids you to mention his name, to call him by his name? That's nonsense. When Moses went up into the tent and talked to him on top of the mountain, he said he spoke to Moses as one speaks to a friend. The Most High wants you as his child, his friend, to have a loving, intimate, communicative relationship with him. And you know that's the case. If that's the case, how are we not to know his name? This is ridiculous. Wake up from that sleeping slumber, the delirious delusion you are in. It's delusional. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocents. We know about that, don't we? Now, you probably have nothing to do with that, you think. A domino effect, my people. When you build your house on sand that is not on the Torah, the instructions, the sound instructions, doctrine that came from the Most High, eventually what that leads to is the worst abominations that one could fathom. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these. Yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest, I have not sinned. Why gaddest thou about so much to change thy way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou was ashamed of Assyria. Yet thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thine head, for Yahuwah has rejected thy confidences, and thou shalt not prosper in them. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, says Yahuwah. Lift up thine eyes unto thy high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways hast thou sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness. And thou hast polluted in the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and here hath been no latter rain. And thou hast a hoe's forehead. Thou refusest to be ashamed. None of y'all are ashamed. The worst thing I can remember that I've done, when I came into this truth for the first 3 or 4 years, I couldn't commit to Yahuwah. I wanted to, and I was ashamed. I would bring a tree in for my children's sake, for my wife's sake, because I didn't want to lose them. I didn't love the Most High more than man. I loved people more than him. And it would have cost me my life. The last tree I had in my house, I kid you not, the day after Christmas, I ripped it, lights and all, out of the wall, and I threw it like a javelin down out into the front yard for all the neighbors to see. And that was the last one I've had. And I would rather set it afire as to look at it. And when people joke with me about it, because they know that I despise it, it builds in me a fury that I can't even explain. Will thou not from this time cry unto me, my Father? Thou art thy guide of my youth. Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldest. Yahuwah said unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel had done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn now unto me, but she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it, and I saw, when all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom,
that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but finally saith Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return now, backsliding Israel, says Yahuwah. I will not cause my anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, says Yahuwah. I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, and that thou hast transgressed against Yahuwah, your mighty one, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. And you have not obeyed my voice, says Yahuwah. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastures according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass when you be multiplied and increased in the land in those days, says Yahuwah, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done any more. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahuwah, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. The imaginations, like your Christmas trees and your Easter bunnies and stockings and all that crap. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. But I said, how shall I put thee among the children, and give thee a pleasant land, a goodly heritage of the host of nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father, and shalt not turn away from me. Surely as a wife treacherously departeth from her husband, so have you dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, says Yahuwah. A voice was heard upon the high places, weeping and supplications of the children of Israel, for they have perverted their way, and they have forgotten Yahuwah, their mighty one. Return, ye backsliding children. I will heal your backslidings. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art Yahuwah, our mighty one, our most high. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills. Your salvation is hoped for in vain. In vanity you hold up your hands, and you hope for your salvation. And from the multitude of mountains, truly in Yahuwah, the Most High, is the salvation of Israel. For shame hath devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth, their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters. We lie down in our shame, and our confusion covereth us. For we have sinned against Yahuwah, our Most High, we and our fathers from our youth even unto this day, and have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, our Most High. All through them 3 chapters, and I encourage you to do your own research, do your own studying, be a Berean. Receive these words with eagerness and urgency. Get in there and read. Ask the Most High to pour out His Spirit upon you and give you understanding, so that you may understand His words. You can understand that what we just read in Jeremiah was all about going after other mighty ones, after other gods and their ways, their holidays. If you think that Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Valentine's Day, all these things are not what He's talking about, if you think that calling Him the Lord, God, calling His Son Messiah, Jesus Christ, if you think that those things, believing in the Trinity and the rapture and all these false doctrines and ideas aren't what He's talking about right here, you're dead wrong. That's exactly what He's talking about under every green tree. vain imaginations. And you do not care, not only do you not care how it offends the Most High and how He feels about it, you believe it's right because you think that you're right in your own eyes. You're wrong. You'll say that I'm wrong for accusing those things to be doctrines of demons. Well, they are. What Christianity teaches is wrong, it's an abomination, and it's filthy, evil, and wicked. And you can justify that all you want. You have forgotten, we have forgotten and forsaken the Most High. Thank Abba Yahuwah, He called me out of Babylon, Mystery Babylon, and I returned unto Him. Am I perfect? No, that's what you're going to say, though. You're going to say that I'm acting like I'm holier than thou and all self-righteous. That's just more evidence of what you have became, because you have based your faith upon a doctrine of demons and of sand. I am thankful to the Most High that I no longer celebrate paganry knowingly, that I no longer delight in unrighteousness, that I am ashamed when I commit it, and that I try to be righteous in all my ways to the best of my ability. And if you say that's wrong and you snub your nose at that, what I just said, it's not good, my friend. I pray that you'll come out of her. Come out of her before you partake in her plagues. Read the words for yourself. Look, here's one last example I'm going to give of the Christians, that the Christians only think for themselves. They only care about themselves. And that what they bitch about, for lack of a better word, what they bitch about is righteousness and truth. What they claim to live by is not what they actually live by. Like Yahusha said, they don't practice what they preach. You say WWJD, but you don't WWJD. You don't do what the Messiah would do. You don't pick up your stake. You know why? You're mad at someone like me for trying to watch, therefore, for trying to keep an eye on the things that are happening, so we can warn our brothers and our sisters, because we love them. You get mad and you bitch at people like me because we want to know the name of the Most High, and we want to do what's righteous, His righteousness. We want to do what's right by Him, not by our own eyes, or what's right in our own eyes. You mock and scoff that. Do you see the hypocrisy in that? You claim to be a child of the Most High, yet you hate anyone that is doing what a child of the Most High should do. And you roll your eyes, constantly mocking and scoffing. You do nothing but make it hard for someone trying to live for the Most High. And if you're my mishpachah and you're still on here, hallelujah, Yahuwah that you are, don't let anyone, especially these people who refuse to acknowledge the Most High, don't let them discourage you. Keep on that straight and narrow road that leads through that narrow gate, my mishpachah. Your reward, whatever it is going to be far greater than being in a place where you're gnashing your teeth and you're cast out from the presence of Abba Yahuwah. I love y'all. Give esteem to the Most High, Christians. I love you too. But what you do is an abomination unto the Most High and to me. I love y'all. Shalom, shalom. Peace out. D's out.